Good evening.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. A different
The ta-
setting.
the tables are turned. The tables are turned.
Turns.
I don't have
Yes,
to do
I
anything.
can. I can mute your phone.
Don't be
Well,
like that now.
okay.
That's not
Excuse
sweet.
me. Forgive
No.
me. Forgive me. I'm being nice. Well, you dropped me in the deep, but I managed, and I have to say, my HD dropped in, and my PTSD dropped in last week, but
You did
I did
good.
okay. I didn't screw up, and
You
here
didn't
we
do
are
okay.
again.
You didn't do
Yes,
okay. You did great.
I'm so proud of myself.
You should be. You definitely should be.
Well, for tonight, we have a great guest,
We
and
sure do.
I won't say his name, but it's a seasoned paranormal investigator and an EVP specialist whose
Mhm.
passion for uncovering the voices of the unseen has become his life's work. You might find him exploring an abandoned home with walls yellowed by age and the doors teetering on their hinges, perhaps a site of tragedy, fire, or unsolved mystery. That are the places. And Todd listens for the whispers of the departed, seeking out subtle traces of the beyond. Well, it's not my native tongue, but
But you did good.
I did it. And who is our guest, Shane?
Our guest is Todd Bates, the one and only.
Here he is.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. My goodness, this is that intro was cool as hell, by the way. That was awesome. I love that. That was fun.
Yes,
She
Wow.
knows how to do that. She does. She just knows how to do that. And
Yeah,
sometimes I read it, and sometimes she does. But she did amazing.
sucks you right in
well,
there. I like it.
Exactly.
like I've done nothing else in the past 6
That's how we learn, though, right? That's how we get things
Yes,
Yep.
done.
Yep.
I
we
think.
do, we do, we do. But before we go any further, for our listeners on StreamYard, maybe you can tell a bit about yourself, about who you are and what you do in the paranormal.
Sure, sure. Oh my goodness. Well, I live in a small town, very small town, Illinois, USA, and surrounded by a lot of historical locations, a lot of history down here. And I've always been a history buff. I've always loved history, but most of all, uh, I love the adventure of finding out new things, discovering new things. And I used to be completely 110% skeptical. I mean, I was the worst of the worst. Um, it was terrible. I just didn't, it was so bad. I didn't think about the paranormal at all. Now, I love movies like Star Wars and so forth. And that's where I started putting two and two together, actually, growing up, was watching Star Wars, thinking, hey, that could be possible. But as far as ghosts were concerned, it wasn't until the late 90s. And it was a paranormal tour that was happening here locally with a local investigation team. I was invited and I was advised to get a cassette recorder like I had behind me. So I got a cassette recorder and a microphone set out there, and all of them went to this old general store and just started flashing their cameras, and they were all just going around it. I went to the barn in the back and sat on an old wood pile that was still there, put my recorder down, hit record, and started asking questions. Just simple questions. What's your name? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite food? You know, whatever I could think of. And I didn't hear anything at all. Um, well, I get back, and of course, I was taught how to analyze them onto the computer and upload them and so forth. I get back, and lo and behold, guys, I still have it on cassette tape somewhere in storage. I captured an EVP of a horse. It was a horse, clearly a horse. It did the neigh, it did the stomp. And from
Wow.
that point forward, I completely lost it as far as how did I not hear that with my naked ear? Because it was so
Hmm.
prominent, it was so clear. And from that point forward, I became enthralled in the paranormal at that point. It was more than just a hobby. I had some rough times back in the day. You know, I was on disability for a little while, and I had nothing but free time. So I took this on full time. That's all I did. I had to have a purpose.
Hmm.
Uh, so I get more involved with the paranormal and finally get some questions answered. And I struggled so hard back then because there really wasn't, we didn't have Facebook or any of these fine places like that to share our beliefs and interests and evidence. We had to email them, and it took forever to get. It took forever, so it was so hard for me to find the research. You know, certain people reached out to me. You know, Jason Snyder, Sarah Estep, for crying out loud. My goodness, God love her. God love that woman. Um, People took me under their wing like that and taught me a good foundation, which I think everybody should go through before they get in this field. It's a serious, serious thing to get into. This is not a game by any stretch. So, you know, get properly trained. But going into it, I was more interested in the audio side of it. Um, I fell in love with that part, the discovery, the hard work. It kind of reminds me of gold mining. You know, you pan for gold, you normally you just get mud and muck, you just try again, but then you get that flake, just that one little flake. Sometimes you get a nugget, it's rare, but usually you get that little flake, and you keep panning. Something keeps you. That's what motivates me anyway, is not necessarily them saying capturing an EVP one day. Yes, there's life after death over here. It's great. Food's wonderful. We've got plenty of hotel space. I don't think we're going to ever capture anything like that. I
No.
really don't. I think a lot of what we capture has already happened. A lot of it's residual. And that's what really gets me even more involved are the differences and the pros, the cons of each of any type of recording. And I gave up everything else and just completely dedicated my life to that. And I created a place called Haunted Voices years ago in 2004. I wrote a study guide of everything that I learned. I wrote a study guide in 2004 um, because the information, the research was so hard to find. I wanted to build one place where people could find a good foundation for electronic voice phenomena. There was a chat room, there was a forum, there was the upload area, there was just so many different things they could do. Lessons, I taught EVP lessons, all free of charge. I feel that that type of education should be free of charge. You guys shouldn't nickel and dime people for it. This is stuff we need. People need to learn this now, not later, but now.
Yep.
And so, to make a longer story short, I took that study guide, that study guide, after I disbanded Haunted Voices, rebranded it basically. It just went out of its stretch. It went away from electronic voice phenomenon and concentrated on all things. And I wanted something just based on electronic voice phenomenon, EVP. That's when I founded EVP Explorations and took that study guide from 2004, formatted it, put that into a service, and lo and behold, courses were created from that study guide. And they're all free of charge for anybody that wants them. And it teaches them everything from 101 to 103 advanced. It teaches them equipment. It teaches them uh, all the way down to how to properly use a Ouija board. Everything's up there free of charge, no cost, no strings attached, no nothing. So those kinds of things motivate me to change this community, get it back to where it used to be, what it used to be. I love it. It welcomed me when no one else would in life. No one else would. But right here, open arms, come on in. And I did. And I respect them for that. And I'm loyal to them for that. No matter what changes they go through, which they're going through a doozy right now, I'll tell you that. It is incredible, guys. And you know the struggle. You see it. The drama, the petty baloney, the fighting, the bickering, the mocking of evidence. I don't, oh my goodness. Please, people, if you can hear this and anything from this at all, if you are in this field and acting such as that, please leave respectfully. Please leave respectfully, because there's plenty of room for serious people that want to help people, help situations, help spirits, for crying out loud. I mean,
Agreed.
that's all I got, guys.
Well, that's a short interview. Well, it was a very, 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 very great introduction.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Definitely was. And the warning was amazing,
Yeah.
because people here, and especially in Europe, at least that's what we notice, there are a lot of people like the TikTok investigators. They're just thinking about this as a game or a way to make money, and it sucks,
yeah, it's
especially for
terrible.
the serious people.
Yeah.
And we
It-
usually have to pick up the pieces they made.
But every time it leaves such a negative impression of this community and what it really is, what it stands for.
Yeah.
I think most of us have forgotten what this community stands for, and first
yeah.
and foremost, it's respect, trust, and integrity. You know, that's what this community stands for and stands behind, because that's all we have. Because people think we're blowing smoke up their rears anyway, with our pictures, with our videos, with our EVP recordings. They think it's all crap. I was used to be one of those people. And until they have a personal experience, that's on them. You know, it's not our job to prove to them. It's for them to discover on their own, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
a lot of them I'm seeing are more important about, does my hair look okay, than, hey, what was that in the corner just now? You know, you're missing the big picture of why we are here in this field doing this. It sucks.
Yep.
If you're doing this correctly, it sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, it really does. It's boring, it's long, it's hard work.
Yep.
You know, it costs
Hours
money.
of footage.
Hours. It sucks in a way.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful kind of suck. It really is. It's a beautiful kind of terrible, because it's bittersweet. You know, you can work and work and work and work. And like I said, you find that gold flake. There it is. You keep going. And that
I'm still
motivates
happy
you
with
to
that
the
flake.
next step. Yeah.
Yeah, always.
I love this community. And there's some great people. And like a lot of those people, I also step back a lot and just observe, like they are veterans and so forth. You just kind of sit back and see if this is a trend, or if, you know, if this is some kind of fad, or if this is something permanent that's going to be happening in this community. And these days, it's very hard to tell the difference, guys. It's very hard to know what direction it's going to take,
Yep.
Yeah.
because things are happening so quickly, and they can happen so quickly with social media. It's insane. You know, it's helped this field, but it's also, you know, I think social media has hurt us far more than television has, with its bullying, with its ridicule as you get. It's and of course, the people, the moderators, they don't know how to take it. You know, you can't. It's hard to take the tone of a text or a
It is.
message sometimes, and
Yep.
you know, there's some scary things out there happening with the community, and people are taking them too lightly. I think, you know, if we would just kind of wake up a little bit, pull our britches up, get
Yeah.
back out there, and do the work, I think we'll be okay. Leave the film crew there. Bring a camera. Oh, hell yes, bring a camera. Don't bring a crew. You know,
You
there's
don't
a
need.
difference. There's a
You don't need.
difference.
You don't need it.
Mm-mm.
Uh,
No.
Exactly, exactly.
as soon as people come in very large teams, then I'm like, I'm staying home.
Yeah.
Today I'm staying home.
Yeah. Everything's tainted. You know, at that
Exactly.
point, you can't tell. It's there's too much. You know, if you
Yep.
split it in spots of six, if you have 12 people, like we have an event coming up, the 29th of this month. Like I said, I'll be going for the first time going to Ashmore Estates, for crying out loud, to get my feet wet since I retired from this field. That place will wake you up. That place will wake
Mhm.
you up pretty quick, and I take it extremely seriously. And there will be a group of people there, but of course we're going to be well divided into two groups of six. Hey, Susan, there's going to be two groups of six.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's going to be more manageable, a
Yep.
lot more manageable. It's the ones where, and I get it, and I understand when you go to a place that's overly, way overly uh, advertised, the Waverly Hills, for example, people will pay thousands of dollars to stay there for overnight or a couple days.
Yep.
That's a classic example. Play to pay. There's too many of those. They're
Yeah.
stomped. If I was a spirit, I sure as hell wouldn't be there. Yeah, you may find some residual activity in there. Sure, it may still be haunted a little bit here and there, but you're getting sucked into the hype of it all,
Yeah.
not necessarily what you're going to find. They want to go there because everybody else has gone there. It's a popular location. And of course, those are fantastic. But don't forget about your local areas as well. You know, the
Exactly.
local history you have, the small places that are right around the corner and personal and intimate, way more intimate to you than Waverly Hills would be. And you develop a relationship. You keep going to this place on a continuous basis, repetitive. That's all you're doing. That's what you're diving into. You're building a case, folks. I mean,
Yeah.
you're building a case.
Plus,
So it's gonna.
you don't start up with expectations because you don't know the place yet. Especially if it's a local place and you never heard of it before, you just know it's haunted.
Yeah.
Just don't know what.
You don't know what
Well,
exactly. You said the key word right there. Yes, yes, Susan. I mean, there was, for example, let me tell you how easy it is to find a really good location close to you. Just go for a drive. What you want to do is you want to get a map on paper or your phone, and you're wanting to find some not necessarily historical locations, but you want a map and you want to drive around about a 25 square foot radius of your home. 25-foot square miles. That's not too bad. You're going to find something in there that piques your interest. You're going to find something there that you're like, this is what I did. And I found it was an old 1930s schoolhouse, one room schoolhouse. And I wanted to go in there. I knew there would be at least some residual activity in there. So I went all the way in that neighborhood. I went into the neighborhood, this small town called Annapolis, and I'm knocking on doors. Do you know who owns this property down here? Oh, no, no. Finally, one day, a guy said, yeah, old Scott owns that property down there. Just drive up. He lives in the house on the hill, and ask him. And they said, watch out. He's kind of grumpy, and all this. I'm thinking, oh, great. So I do. I just drive up there, knock on Scott's door. He comes out. It's a big, tall guy, oxygen tank, the whole 9 yards. He's lived his life, And I'm thinking, this man does not believe in ghosts whatsoever. I knew immediately that he wanted no part of it. He says, "What you need?" And then I said, "Is that your small school?" I used to go to school down there. Yeah, that's my schoolhouse. I bought that property. I said, "It's an interesting structure, sir. I mean, would you mind if I took a look at it with my team one day? Your team?" And I proceed to explain to him what we do. And his face, he changed expressions. I don't know how many times. He was just completely blown away by the information. He says, "So you mean to tell me you want to go in that building and find ghosts?" I said, "I do, sir. I do." He says, "I tell you what, I want you to go down in that building and find some ghosts, and I want you to bring them back here so I can hear them." I said, "Okay, I'll do that for you, sir." By Jenny, I said, "I'll do that for you, sir." And we went down there, and lo and behold, we had just open invitation to this place anytime we wanted to. So we basically lived there and researched there and captured so many different types of evidence there. That's where I learned intelligent from residual and so many things you learn. And the kid spirits, you guys know how they are. They're strong, they're powerful, they have a lot of energy.
Hmm.
We captured a lot of them. We captured some out in the woodshed. Those little negative things out there, there's and it, but it all stemmed from just taking that extra step and asking, "Hey, do you mind if I check out your structure? We have our waivers here. You won't be liable. You give them a liability form and they'll sign it, and they let you in." So that's how it starts with a lot of good investigations, and
It is.
you know a lot of it, things are so close to home. They're right around the corner, and we drive by them all the time, but never take the second to go up and ask if it's okay to check them out.
No,
Yeah,
We need to
exactly.
start doing that again. It's okay. I
yeah,
think it's okay.
Yeah, I think it's very cool.
absolutely. Wow. I
Flabbergasted.
I love listening to you, but we drop into the EVPs. Tony was convinced it's frequency, vibration, and energy that combines, and that is creating the EVP, because they don't talk like us. What's your idea about that?
Oh, that's yeah. His theory is completely possible. Um,
Hmm.
that's one of the beauties of it. There's no absolutes with it. My personal thing with electronic voice phenomenon, um, because it captures it on both digital and analog. I think it's some kind of magnetism or static electricity, a magnetism generated by the recorder itself. Maybe their energy finds it easier to latch on to that, um, and it's granulated, if you will. So they're going to sound a little distant um, when they're captured. It could be interdimensional as well. It's another theory I follow. We could be capturing things that, there's a lot of examples of people capturing their own voices. It happens quite often, and they swear they didn't say that. That could be an interdimensional time tear, for example, that comes in, and you're actually recording something you said in the future or in the past, perhaps one of those areas. There's those theories. You can get wrapped up in this for years upon years upon years,
Hmm.
and there's no easy solution. There's
No.
no answer at this point. There's tons of speculation. There's always been speculation ever since the 40s and 50s. They've always speculated on how it's imprinted, how it gets there. But of course, no one knows for sure. So we're all throwing our guesses in there with all the work we've done over the years in the field with the different experiments. I've found, for example, different captures out at the Sally House, for example. I did a lot of experimentation with static energy. Oh, boy, would that fire that place up. They hated that, absolutely despised it. And it got to the point where it would make an individual nauseous being in there that long. But they were, and I captured so many great captures that night, that day, by using the static energy, which I think charges the atmosphere, makes it easier for them to communicate. It's something with static. It has to be something I feel natural, in its most natural state, like that. And that frequency is Mother Nature, and that can't be tuned into. That's one of those. That's uh, that's a mystery within a mystery.
Mm-hmm. Still
But
is.
I think doing it enough, and depending on the money you want to spend on equipment. Me personally, I feel less is more. But let's say you really wanted to get scientific with it all. Get an air ion counter. Get a natural EM detector. If you want to spend money on an air ion counter, that'll tell you before a storm, especially. Do they use positive or negative ions to communicate? Something as simple as that. There's your answer. You have an air ion counter on during the session. Did they increase? Did they decrease? It's just another tool that you can use for communication. But again, with EVP, which is what I specialize in, it's far from real time. It's far from real time. It can be, you know, it can be. It's pretty close to real time. It depends on what kind of equipment you bring with you. For example, you can connect a cassette recorder or a digital recorder, and it's best, I feel, to upload that to the computer to process it instead of doing it on your phone.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to do everything on their phone these days. But if you do it process it on the computer, you simply upload it for analysis. And there's patch cables, and I know Windows has the line in ports. Macs don't have them any longer, but Windows has the line in ports. You plug it right into there, you hit play, and here it comes. It's coming real time. I use Adobe Audition. It comes in real time through Adobe Audition. You can actually see the EVP before you even hear it. So it just comes down to what you want, I guess. In essence, to EVP, it's harder work. I feel there's less results. They're not immediate. These are its cons. However, its pros are when you do capture an EVP, that voice on magnetic tape especially is 9 times out of 10 pretty clear, pretty legible, pretty audible. And sure, you get a lot of misfire, especially with digital. But those files compared to ITC's real time, and I have a spirit box myself. Love the little guy, and I'll get him out during sessions sometimes to compare. But there's still a part of me that says, is that a fragment? Because it's picking it up from the air, but yet so is electronic voice phenomenon.
Yeah.
So this one uses radio signals. This one uses maybe static energy or magnetism. Which one am I going to believe? Both. Because we don't know. We don't know. But until they say, okay, communication, this is the way, and they say that clearly to where we all understand it, then that's the way. We finally found the way we can all go home.
Mm.
I don't see it coming anytime soon. I see, people like Tony and Cherie, they're amazing individuals, pulling the frequencies out of a lot of this audio is very tedious work, and it does take programming. It does take a very sharp mind. an
Yeah.
advanced mind to do something of that. I'm more simple. I take a more simple approach when I analyze my files. Less is more. I may amplify them a little bit. I may isolate the EVP itself a little bit. But as far as doing heavy hiss reduction or noise reduction, absolutely not. It just sounds like a tin can. It needs that background, I feel, to that's what helps it manifest. I feel that's what helps its clarity is having that background.
Yep.
So less is more, when it comes to that part of it. But it's a lot
Fully.
of fun, guys.
It
It's
is.
so much fun.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
And like I said, I fully agree with the less is more. I don't clarify everything because I amplify it a little, and like you said, just keep it natural. Because most of the times when someone sends me an EVP and it's been messed with all around, I'm like,
Yeah,
huh? What was that? Yeah, it said that.
it's
No, I don't hear
bad.
that. I don't hear that.
Ooh.
I hear somebody. Oh,
Yeah.
whoa.
What?
Exactly. Did
What
you
the hell
record a
is?
demon or something? Did it have to go?
What is this?
No,
Is this what is
it
this?
doesn't work like
They
that. It doesn't work for
they're
me.
so bad, and
Yeah.
They
and
are.
and I I get a lot of those in my email. Trust me, I get a lot of them, and it's fun because I mean it takes me back to when I first started. Everything was that it? Did you hear that? Everything. Did you hear that? You know, and then after a while, it's you just hmm, it just dawns on you. You don't. Did you hear that? You don't do that anymore. So I guess it's fun for me to reply to these emails and not correct them, but teach them, the
Yeah,
proper way and what to listen for in the responses. And some of the stories you get are hilarious
they are.
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
and the way some of these are even captured. It's you never know. Some of
Mhm.
the there was one I got here recently. They just went to it was an old house, um, old abandoned house they went to, and they with their audible ears they heard footsteps running across the floor, which of course that'll get anybody skittish right away. And then they continue their investigation. They do all their base readings and so forth and get all their numbers and then what they're learning or was the funny part was the temperature changes. That's what got them was they didn't and I tried to explain the best I could with them, but the cold spots and the hot spots, because this is my opinion, of course. I'm just me. This is my opinion. But with a cold spot, what I explained to them and why they're generated, uh, when they come in, when I feel when a spirit is manifesting in our world, the heated molecules, the hot molecules, that's gonna be the most energy. That's gonna be where it's at.
Hmm.
So I think they're gonna absorb every single one of those bad boys, and that's gonna cause quite the chill in the room. There's
Hmm.
your cold spot. Now, the hot spots, which I've experienced these too. These are pretty wild. Um, I, 3 or 4 of these, yeah, 3 or 4 of them. In the time I've been doing it, but it's like walking into a wall of fire. It's a release. This is what I feel. I feel it's a release. Okay, they're heading out. They're going back to wherever they came from. They have to leave what they took behind here, and I think they just dump it. And there's your hot spot, and that's like they can't take it with them. I don't feel. I think they have to leave that part here somehow. That's the only way that I can get it to register in my brain to where I'm not psychotic or think I'm psychotic.
Well, that should
Because
mean that I'm psychotic because it sounds logical in my ears.
well, thank you. Because it,
Yes.
it it helps keep me sane, because a lot of things in this field are insane. If if
Hmm.
if, if you want to get rational about the entire thing, a lot of what we do, guys, is it's pretty insane. Going into a dark location, that may be barely standing or
Yeah.
risking life and limb to go into this location to
Yep.
communicate with those that have crossed over. That's insane. Or
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah.
Or
My
is it?
grandpa used to tell me I was ripe for a mental hospital.
We're at stand in line, Shay.
He was like, "Why the hell are you going to a building in the dark and talk in complete darkness to nothing?" I was
Yeah.
like, "I don't know," because I want answers. What kind of answers? I said, "What happens when you die?"
Yep.
Well, I can tell you that in a couple of years. I was like, "Okay, how? I have to sit in the dark, talk to complete. Oh yeah, that's true. Still gonna
Yeah.
haunt your ass."
But that's true. I mean,
Yeah.
that's very true, and it is really that simple. And I don't want this community to lose the simplicity of the entire thing. Don't overcomplicate this stuff, folks.
No.
Holy cow! I think it's so simple. That's why we're overlooking the whole damn thing. Is
Yes,
because it's right in front of our face,
it is.
and we're too busy or not evolved enough yet to recognize it, to go. I mean, once we cross, yeah, that's going to be the ultimate answer. I mean, I can see myself now. I'm just going to cross and just go, oh, you're kidding me. That you're that's it. Yeah, and all those years, I could be judged for some of this stuff. I don't know. But that's the thing is, you do what you have to do in this lifetime, and we are extra special kinds of individuals because we're not only are we worried about life, we're worried about death.
Mm-hmm.
We want to know what's going on. We want to know what's
Yes.
happening,
Yeah.
and there's more and more of us growing out there. The interest, because of all the, thank God, because of television, and it has helped us in that way. People are coming forward with their stories.
Yeah.
You know, and no, not everything's a demon, folks. Don't believe everything you see on television, please. Oh,
Please.
Well,
please.
now I'm disappointed.
um, but it is what you make it.
Yeah.
I guess, guys.
Yeah, it
This
is.
field is what you make it.
Yeah,
It could.
and in the process, we tease ourselves and we trigger ourselves with the fight, flight, and freeze
Yep.
mechanism, and we're coping with that, and everyone is walking out, and we are walking in,
Yes.
shitting our pants. That's
Exactly. Every time.
Yep.
every time. Yeah,
Every time. And I
yeah,
don't think John or Jane Q Public realize that what we go through. Sure, they see it on television. They see a 3 or 4 day investigation wrapped up in an hour docu-series. It's not like that.
No.
No, it's long hours. It's you're tired, you're exhausted, you're hungry, but you can't eat, but yet you have to eat, but you can't eat, but you have to eat. So there's so many emotions you go through during an investigation.
yeah,
And
Yep.
that's what tells me, that's what told me anyway. Whenever I captured that EVP and then later saw the little girl at the little at Sally's house, saw the little girl, that was my awakening, I guess, in this field from skepticism. Oh, I'm caution. Oh my goodness, that the caution light is always on, always, and it's always right here. And you should always don't be gullible, people. Don't be gullible when it comes to this stuff. Be practical. Use common sense. 9 times out of 10, you're good to go.
Mm-hmm.
Because 98% of what we deal with, as well as I do, that can be explained. It's
Yep.
that small 2% that I feel everybody has to have a personal experience with to fully understand. But it's that 2%. That's what keeps me going anyway, that small percentage. And if that percentage gets higher, that just motivates me even more.
Exactly.
And you have to keep going. You can't give up. And I know a lot of these teams, they have drama, folks. They have so much drama, so much bullying. Um, get out. If you can't get out, find somebody to help you get out.
Hmm.
Either way, get out, because there are fantastic, absolutely phenomenal teams out there that will accept you and treat you the way you're supposed to be treated.
Exactly.
You know, just because a person has a name, a t shirt, and a logo doesn't necessarily make them an investigation team. That
Nope.
makes them ready to be one. That doesn't make them one. You have to have experience. You've got to be trained. You can't just jump into this willy nilly. You're going to get hurt.
Hmm.
It's a matter of
Definitely.
time. It really is, guys. You can get hurt doing some of this. They are very powerful. I've witnessed some very powerful events that spirit can do, and they're quite capable of kicking your ass. I mean, there's no doubt in
Yeah.
my mind. I've seen
Nope.
grown men bigger than me flipped in midair in front of a gravestone. What? These things aren't supposed to happen, but they happen because people go out and get stupid.
Hmm.
You get stupid back.
Exactly.
You can't fix that kind of stuff.
Well, no, you can't fix it, but you can learn from it. And if you don't learn,
Yes,
then
sir.
that's plain as stupid.
That that is correct, Shay. Yes.
I learned the hard way.
Yeah. But it's stuck, right?
It is. I will probably do it again, but not that easy. It'll take a
Mhm.
lot more to do that.
Yeah.
Depends on
Yeah.
what it is the investigation gives me. If it's, I have to be honest. If it's a spirit that likes to bully certain people, or I don't care. Just don't bully. It doesn't matter if you're
Yeah.
dead or alive. Don't bully.
Yeah.
And if you, um, as a spirit, choose to be arrogant against me, I don't like that. So I'll probably get triggered.
Yeah. You bug
But it
out.
takes a lot to do that to me. So I learned the hard way, but I learned.
Man.
Yeah.
I mean it is. It's a lot to go through, and it's life changing
Yep,
for a lot of people.
it is.
Having an experience, capturing their first EVP or photograph or video clip.
Hmm.
There was one a buddy at work showed me the other day. They didn't even realize there was anything in it, guys. It was a shadow walking across the room. And he says, I was the only one there. And other than his sister was sitting in the chair, and no one else was there, and you see a shadow going in front of the fireplace. I mean, these things happen every day. It just comes down to timing and sharing. I mean, what happened to good old fashioned sharing, guys? We used to do it all the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, look what I got.
Hmm.
Now it's, hey, look
No,
how
that's
many
my.
followers I got. Hey, look how many people are on my film crew.
Yep.
No, let's see some evidence. Let's see some people. I mean, I'm getting back out there. Let's get back out there and do some damage again and discover a few things. Maybe solve a few mysteries, for crying out loud. Get off
Exactly.
our butts and quit worrying about who likes me, who doesn't like me. Let's get out there
Yeah.
and find some answers for once,
Yep.
instead of just stumbling over our feet all the time. That's all.
True. True. Give
I
respect, get
agree.
respect. Right.
Yeah, yeah. It really is that simple.
It is.
And it's so much fun. It is. It is. It's very rewarding in
It
its own
is.
way, in so many ways.
Yeah.
And you don't
Yeah.
have to spend a bunch of money either. It's not
No.
expensive. It can be if you allow it. Don't allow it. You don't need all that stuff.
No, you don't.
Wow. There's so much stuff, guys.
There
Yes.
is.
I came back into this. I'm like, well, are you freaking kidding me? What is it? What is this?
Yeah.
And there's so many devices. But I mean, I'm old school. I trust people like Austin Maynard. I trust I trust his devices. You know, and it comes down to trust in this field. And when you have such a huge abundance, of devices all of a sudden, take a minute and think, folks. What do they do? What
Yeah.
is that going to solve? Is this just something copying something else you've already tried?
Yeah.
Try some
Or
new stuff.
enhancing.
Oh yeah, most of the times it is.
Yeah.
You think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not.
Yeah.
It's only to get more evidence of some sort. But in the end, you have to do it for you because you want to know the mystery. I don't care if anybody else sees it. I don't have to
Bingo.
prove myself to anybody else. I have to prove myself to
Yeah.
me or my grandpa in this case.
Yeah. Amen to that, Shay. No, that's 100% accurate.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
not our job. It's not our job. It just
I don't care.
isn't. And
You get
one
so many
day,
people like, I don't believe you. Yeah, well, that's fine.
Yeah.
give it a
I
minute.
don't have to prove anything to you, dude. Seriously.
Nope.
Good
It'll
luck with
come
that.
in its own
Bye.
due time to them if it does at all.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. And sometimes we post evidence as well, but we do it rarely.
I
And
know.
sometimes you get a reaction AI.
Oh
So
yeah,
if
yeah.
you believe that, fine with me, it's AI.
It's a tool.
I have
It's a
to
tool
mute
any
my
way you slice
phone
it.
if I talk
You know,
further.
it's
But
saying
yeah,
your EVP or photograph is AI.
Mhm.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
I would just respond, LOL. I I I I mean, no. Yeah, sure, they can be. You can make a dime a
Oh
dozen
yeah.
using AI. Sure you can.
You can. I have no idea how,
Um,
but you can.
which in my defense, being old school, that's what gives me an advantage because what I capture is either on magnetic tape or digital device. It's
yes,
totally dependent on that device, you know.
Yeah.
So it's going to have its own distinct sound and signature.
yeah,
So that that's the advantage EVP has in my opinion. It's a little more valid, a little more tangible,
It is.
um, a little more tangible than and a lot easier if you ask me, a lot more simple
It
way
is
to
definitely.
communicate.
Yes,
yeah,
definitely.
ITC is broader. It's an amazing communication tool. They have some amazing tools. They use video, of course, as well. There's so many ways to communicate. And Sarah tried to teach me that aspect of it, and I really didn't have an interest. I was only interested in the recorders. That was in it to this day. I'm just still drawn to those little guys. I don't know why,
yeah,
but I can't move forward. I don't think I can personally move forward until I figured out what's behind me yet.
yeah,
I have to figure that out. And then I
yeah.
can go forward and try something different. But,
Yeah,
I think I'm just stubborn.
you should
I'm
be in the field.
a bit skeptical. I'm the one who's trying to debunk everything.
Hmm.
We had a case, and there was a video shown, and well, we should have taped it because I was jumping through.
She she even
through,
jumped off the
through.
stairs.
Yes, I did everything just to capture the same video. I couldn't debunk it. I
The only
couldn't.
thing I could say is looks funny, but it's not working.
Nope, 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 nope. And it kept me easily 2 or 3 days because I'm not the video kind of person. But if there's something on it, I spot it right away. I see it right away
Hmm.
because it's off from what I'm looking at. And then I'm going, what can it be? Can it be your finger, your hair? So the whole debunking
Always
stuff,
trying to debunk it.
Mhm.
yes, I'm the worst. Yeah,
And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
yeah,
Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Oh my goodness, no. Because half of those, more than half, unfortunately, can be explained
Yep.
right
yes,
off. That it's a hair, it's a camera strap, it's this,
Spiders.
it's a bug. Yeah, it could be so many different things, and it takes. Sometimes it costs money to get some of these photos analyzed and authenticated. You can't do everything for free. Some of these things cost money to get done. If you want that to be genuine, get it looked at. Kodak used to do it. You used to be able to send your images to Kodak, and they'd tell you if that was possible
Yeah.
or not.
Yeah.
You know, they don't do that anymore. But there's things you can do. There's just use common sense and keep it. Don't keep it as raw as you can. If you capture something on video or photograph, a photograph has an EXIF signature that always stays with that image. Make sure you keep that raw, and it'll
Yeah.
Yeah.
stay. That's your proof that
Yeah.
that's yours. You took that. You captured that.
Yeah.
And you didn't alter that, because it'll tell you if there's been any filters or layers or anything applied to that. You can tell a fake. You can tell a fake image or video easier than you can audio, actually.
Yeah.
Audio's tough
Yes.
because this stuff out there's smart, guys. I mean, and
Yeah.
you have tons of scammers, and they're doing it. Shane, like you mentioned earlier, to make money,
Yeah.
to make a quick buck, to get you sucked into something. Next thing you know, for the last 4.5 hours, you've watched a series of somebody standing in a graveyard with a spirit box, and you can't get that time back. It's gone. That 4 hours is gone.
Yeah.
But that's just damn good marketing, is what
It
that
is.
is. So
It
be
is.
careful. Learn the difference. Learn the difference.
Yeah.
Um,
The thing I always say, if it comes to learning the difference, and that's my opinion of things, if there's too much things that happen in one episode, if it comes to a hour, 5 6 hour investigation,
mhm.
it's probably fake.
Absolutely.
Because not that much is going to happen. Because,
Yeah.
like we said, the real deal is boring.
Yeah. It's extremely rare.
Yeah,
Mhm.
It's extremely rare for that to happen. And
definitely.
that's production. That is, their job is to sell advertising and to keep you glued to your seat.
Yep.
And that's what they do with these TV shows. They condense an investigation, and the producers, I know they push those guys. I know they push them. They push them hard, and they tell them, hey, make something happen. I don't care what you do. Maybe that's why Bagans provokes. I don't know, but it's there's a time and a place for it, and you simply respect where you're at, what you're doing, use common sense, and you're going to be just fine in this field. If you go too far outside the box, you can get completely wrapped up in theory, completely wrapped up um, in equipment, um, because this this field can grab you,
Oh,
and you can become quite obsessed quite quickly,
Yeah.
because we all want to know what happens when we die. We all want to know, are things just black? Is there light? We hear near death experiences. We hear all kinds of documented reasons that there's life after death or something out there.
yep.
And that curiosity is very motivating, especially at my age. I'm getting closer, guys. You know, we're not getting any younger. So
No.
I want to know what's going on before I get there. Kind of, not that I'm a planner, because I'm not. I'm the worst planner known to man. But as far as life after death, I want to know. I'd like to know.
That would
And
come.
I think I've experienced enough to safely say there is something out there when we
Yeah.
cross. I've experienced both residual and intelligent.
Yep.
So there's no absolutes. There's no answer at the end. It's a giant riddle. The whole thing is. All
Yep.
we can do is keep trying and share our evidence, collaborate with each other, for crying out loud, so we don't keep making these mistakes over and over and over and over again. And we may just screw up and learn something. It may
Yeah.
happen.
You
It may
never know.
happen. Oh,
You never know. Question.
yeah.
Complete different tour. But was there any time that when you captured an EVP, when you listen to it back on location, you could distinctly hear what it said and what was that EVP.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did. It was a stationary session in Vincennes, Indiana, on an old train bridge. And it was a 10-minute stationary session. I left the recorder on the bridge, walked away, quite a ways away, and sat down on the ground, went back, got the recorder, and clearly captured an elderly woman saying hello. I mean, it was, and it's on my website, evpexplorations.com. It's on there. And she clearly says hello. And that hit me like a two by four because I heard that on. Now, I didn't have to analyze this at all. This was simply rewinding the tape and listening to the session.
Hmm.
It came through the cassette speaker, the headphones,
Cool.
you know, and it was clear as a bell to me. And when you capture things like that and you're sitting there waiting in the dark with ants crawling up your legs, you get ticks, you get whatever, but you still brush yourself off for moments like that.
Yeah.
Uh, and you take that as a win. And that's the motivation to spend those other extra hours you're about to spend on this very time consuming hobby. That's when you take those moments, take what you can from them, build your foundation, and share that with others. Teach other people. Don't just keep this information to yourself. Get it out there. There's no right or wrong way to do it, really, because there's no absolutes. There's nothing to compare it to.
Nope.
So there's simply a way, but there's proper ways. There's ethics involved. There's, a lot of things involved, folks. You just don't go to Walmart, buy a recorder, run to a haunted house, start talking to dead people. You just don't do that. It takes planning. It takes education. It takes time. Just find a resource, whether it be if you want ITC, they have the old websites. There's tons of websites for ITC, folks. I mean, tons of them out there. EVP, if you're into that, you've got EVP explorations. You can search it all over the place. It's free. There's a lot of free resources out there. Use them. Don't pass them by. Don't let them pass you by. Get those ebooks that are on sale. Look for those things. They're all over the place. And learn. Because the more you learn, the easier it is to distinguish what's out there. Whenever you capture some of these voices and so forth, it's easier to tell the difference of what it is, what it could be. And like I said, before you know it, you're processing your files, and you don't even have the sound on, and you'll be able to see an EVP capture, let alone hear it. You just become attuned to those things over time. So give it time. Just give it time. Don't give up. Don't give up so easy. It's worth the fight. It really is. I mean, I know you guys agree. It's worth the fight.
You do. Definitely. It definitely is. But it's like when you do your job for the first day compared to when you do it 20 years later. It's
your job.
practice. It's just a lot of practice.
Yeah. A lot of oh, damn. Yeah, a lot of practice. That's what makes it good, though. That's what makes it stick.
Yeah, it does.
I
You know
mean,
what to do.
Look at Mary. She's running the show now. That's pretty cool. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not. It takes it.
She can do it.
Yeah, she's doing great, and it takes multitasking to do a lot of these things.
It does.
And you learn how to focus. You learn how to prioritize. You learn how to do a lot of stuff in your head, and you learn how to. I learned anyway. I'm a massively horrible recovering alcoholic, and my job is to stay out of my head. So I have to keep things in there. When I go in there, it's something I can't figure out. So that's what helps keep me going and keeps me away from that stuff and keeps me out of my head. But there's a way for everybody to learn how to do this stuff.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science.
Nope.
It's not hard. It's not expensive. You just do it. Just get out there and do it, and have fun doing it. Capture those moments. Remember those moments. Build some friendships. Yeah, I mean, it's just so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and find somebody who would like to help you in that. Because there's a lot of people out there who do seriously want to help you get bigger for
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to be a superstar in the end. You just have to do it for you.
You and you alone.
Exactly.
You and
Yeah.
you alone. It's that self-satisfaction. That's what it just drags you forward sometimes, but you keep going forward. I mean,
Yes.
drag your ass with you. Keep going forward with this because it is it'll take you back a few pegs. I mean, if
Yeah.
there's it'll knock you flat on your ass.
Oh
Just
yes.
get
Yeah.
back up. Just get back up
Yep.
Yeah. And you are
immediately. Immediately.
completely drained afterwards. And as soon as you're back on your feet, you're rocking on your chair when we're going again.
Yes, the adrenaline. Once, I mean, and I think what that is, guys, what I experience a lot during these investigations is that pure adrenaline rush.
Oh yeah.
You get that satisfying. Okay, let's do this, and then 2 a.m., 3 a.m. hits, and then the adrenaline just slowly leaves, and you're like, oh, geez,
Yeah.
I'm hungry,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
and you get that roller coaster. Then you're sitting there, the adrenaline rush is ended, and you're just chilled in your chair looking at the DVR system or whatever, and you look and something goes across the room. There it is. It's back. And you just go. So it's
Yep.
it's a cool roller coaster ride. It really is, and it helps. I think it helps a person get in touch with their senses, their hearing, their sight, their sense of
Oh,
smell. All of these senses come to life because you're in a pitch black area and you have no senses except for hearing, smell, things like that. So they get heightened, I think.
yeah.
And that in itself is a cool little rush, if you will. But it's a cool little aspect of investigating. I don't know. It's just a lot of fun. Just get
Yes.
out there and do it.
Yeah. Definitely. Agreed. I
I
agreed.
totally agree.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
And those,
crazy.
yeah, and if you capture an EVP while you were hearing it with your own ears, oh my God, afterwards I'm screaming.
Oh, to have that happen helps the psyche so much because it's like, okay, I heard it. There it is. Too. Oh, okay. I wasn't hearing things. Okay, it's okay. It's on the recorder. We're good.
Oh yeah.
So it helps. It helps with
Because
this with the sanity
if
because
it's
Yeah,
some
not
of
on
this
the
stuff will make
recorder,
you.
it's like, see, I'm getting crazy. I'm going crazy. I told you. I'm going crazy now.
yeah, and
Absolutely.
Definitely.
yeah, and you have to be careful because if you think you're hearing things, it could be tinnitus. So that's a problem with your hearing.
Hmm.
And but if you're captured, you know you haven't gotten the
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely great.
That's the beauty of it. Is that capture. You're sitting there for hours like this, and you're like, is it ever going to happen? There it is. There it is. There, and
Yes.
you're off. You're gone. Okay, let's analyze it. Let's see what's up. And then you get a delayed conversation going with the spirit, and it's really cool. Sure, it may
Yeah.
take 10 minutes to get another answer, but to me,
True.
it's that rush. It's that anticipation that makes me wait that extra 10 minutes. That makes me work hard that hour to process that file, to
Yeah.
get to understand what that spirit asked or answered, and then
Yeah.
go back and get another response. Oh my goodness, the feeling is just, you're on,
Yeah.
you're talking to someone that you can't see, you can't hear, they're right there. How in the hell are they getting on your device? No one knows. But still, that's what drives you forward is you get that response out of that
Yep.
question,
Agreed.
and you're hooked. You're hooked from that point on. There's no escaping it really. There's no unbelieving it. You can't unsee it or unhear it. It
No,
just is what it is at that point.
it
You
is
know.
Yeah,
definitely.
exactly. That's what I was saying the other day with Sherry and Tony. They have Staticom on all day. I would I would hire staff because I wouldn't do anything at all.
No.
Just listening to Staticom, to the voices, what they're telling, asking questions, taping. Well,
That would drive me bananas.
yeah,
That would drive me bananas. What they're probably doing, if I know those two, what they're probably doing is they are living their normal lives to see if that entices the spirit to communicate and
yeah,
interject into their lives.
yeah,
Yeah.
And they're cool like that. They do little
yeah, it
experiments like
is.
that. Tony's smart like
Imagine
that.
you have Staticom and you are cooking in the kitchen, and there's a voice telling you you're doing it wrong, you're doing
Doing
it
it,
wrong, you're doing it wrong.
yes. I mean,
That would
that-
be the holy grail.
it would,
Yeah,
or hey, smells good. I mean, I would flip out.
Yeah.
To get a response like that, that
yes,
is not only a voice from somewhere beyond, but that they can actually smell what you're cooking. That's pretty damn cool in itself.
It is, definitely.
It would
That
be
would be amazing.
neat to get. It would, and it would to do it all day would drive me bananas. It would. It would
Me too.
probably drive me
yeah.
bananas. I'd have to have breaks, and I'm sure they take breaks. Then there's Tony. See, we do that all the time. Yeah, and that's the beauty of the whole communication thing is there's no right or wrong way to do it. Just get out there
Yeah,
and do it. Damn it, just do it. Find a
Yeah.
way to do it.
yeah,
And if you can't find a way, be like Tony and Cherie and Ron and Lourdes. Build something to do it. Construct
yeah,
something to do it.
yeah. I'm
Don't
not
just
that
sit there.
technical. And if I would be technical, I would have the problem that no one would be cleaning my house. And I cook pizza. One Italian mother was telling me there is no pineapple on a pizza in Italian. But hey,
that's that's been known to create hauntings.
I
Yeah.
know.
Putting pineapple on pizza.
Yeah,
It's been known to stir up a few
Well,
haunted
I will.
locations.
I will hunt you. You
Because
will not Don't
my,
put
my
pineapple on pizza. Just
my
don't.
Sherry does it. I can't stand it. Oh, I don't know how she does it. So there's cheese on there.
yeah,
It just doesn't. It doesn't. Look, Mary's like,
yeah.
yeah.
Tomato, ham,
Yeah.
cheese, pineapple.
Nah.
I smack everything on my pizza.
Run it through the garden. She says that like Sherry gets it. She says run it through the garden,
Yeah,
and that's what I do. Oof. But I don't eat that.
Me neither.
Me, I'm a meat lovers kind of guy. I get the meat
I will
lovers
have
or
more.
whatever. That's what I like.
Yeah, yeah.
I agree with Todd again.
Meat lovers, it is.
Yep.
But
Just
I
want
do
no
like
pineapple.
my meat, and if I eat meat, I eat Greek, and
Okay,
yeah, and no one touches my meat. No one. I prepare it myself.
that's okay. That's good.
Yeah,
It's good
Greek style.
practice.
Yeah, Greek style, not the European style.
See,
Yum.
it sounds good. That sounds yummy.
Yeah,
So now I'm getting
it is.
hungry.
That was the idea. You have to eat later.
Oh yeah, that's coming up here.
Yeah,
Yeah, what is it? It's like it's like 20 after 3 here. Not bad at
yeah.
all.
So you're building up an appetite for meat, some
Yeah, it's that
vegetables.
time of day. Some sustenance as they call it, here and there. But
Yeah,
it's I don't know. It's been a fun day. It's been a fun day. I can't complain. Got the show tonight, got that prepping. That's going to be a lot of fun. It's just, I get these days off. I don't get them often because a lot of times I have to work on my days off, and I'm always working because I work two jobs. So it's these days off are nice when I don't have appointments because I can actually do stuff. Mow the lawn, do stuff, and do shows like fun shows like this. I mean, it's so much fun, and
Yeah,
and I just wish. I wish some of my work life would die down so I could really dig into a few more things. But at the
yeah,
moment, it is what it is, and you just kind of have to. But it's okay. I try and hold my own. Try to get out there and do what I can. But I don't know. It's been a blast though. This has been fun.
It is definitely.
yeah. If someone wants to learn about the EVPs and where can they go to follow the course or
Oh sure.
everything you prepared and doing?
Oh absolutely. Thank you. It's real simple. The name of it is EVP Explorations, and the website is evpexplorations.com. And you simply go there, click on classes or classroom, and there are tons of courses I created from that study guide from 2004, and it's been modernized. You can learn EVP 101 to 103, Paranormal 101 to 103. There's intro classes to residual hauntings and intelligent hauntings, how to use an EMF meter, how to use a cassette recorder, how to use a digital recorder. All of these courses are free of charge. All you have to do is go there. You have to register as a student, I think. That just gets you into the system. I don't do anything with your information or anything. Of course, I don't know how, folks. But you get in there, you register, and you take the course, and it takes you through step by step, gives you some pointers, gives you some steps on what you can do after the course to experiment. There's just all kinds of things for the courses. So hopefully you guys enjoy those and pass them around. Like I said, they're free of charge right there for the taking. You get a certificate after each course. You can download the certificate that you've taken that course. So for those of you that like that, that's been implemented. So thanks for the feedback there. And it's to get a hold of me. It's simple through the website, Facebook. You just search EVP Explorations or Todd Bates 1973. That's the year I was born. God help me. It showed my age. It just brought back a bad flashback, folks. But you can.
It could get worse. It could get worse because mine is 1967.
Oh, don't
Yeah,
worry. See, Sherry's 1968, so you guys are right there, Mary. Don't worry.
yes,
That's
okay.
still young, and good to go.
Yeah.
Yep, we still have our whatsits. We still have some intelligence up here. We
Yes,
have something a lot of other people don't have, and that's experience, right?
Oh yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, that's the fun stuff. We screwed
Yeah,
up, so they don't have to.
yeah.
That's what
True.
makes it fun, though. But that's the best way to get in touch with me, guys. Is social media, the website. I'm always on the website doing updates, doing all kinds of stuff. So I'm usually around. Everything goes through my phone, so I try to get back to it as fast as I can. As fast as I can.
Perfect.
Really
So
perfect.
I'm going to share everything everywhere, of course.
Oh, thank you,
Absolutely.
Yes, you're welcome.
thank you.
And
That means a lot.
feel free to share anything on our page as well.
Oh, bless you guys.
Feel free
Yes,
to do
thank
that.
Yes,
you.
in the group, everything I see passing by, I share.
Yep.
But if we do the rerun on Things Network, I make sure that I comment and put the website link in the comments. And we do that on Spotify as well.
Oh,
Yes, we do.
cool.
Looking sweet to Shane.
Oh, nice.
Of course I do. You know I
And
Thank
will.
you,
on
Shade.
TikTok,
You're welcome.
yeah,
You're
on
welcome.
TikTok as well. I will put it on YouTube, and I think I can. Um, I will manage to get a link in, so people will know where to find you if they want to follow a course or a class. They
Thank
know
you.
where they need to go.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Thank you very much. It means the world to me. It's just my way of giving back to this community for everything they've given to me all these years. It's my way of
Yeah.
giving back. It's plain and
Very
simple.
cool. Very cool. And thank you very much for that.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. My pleasure. Every bit of it.
Yes. Well, we are an hour and 15 minutes on our way, so we came to an end and we had a blast. We
Yes, we did.
laughed a lot, and we want to thank you, Todd,
My
for
pleasure.
dropping in last minute, and hopefully we can get you back in the future. And maybe
Anytime.
we can double date with Tony and Sherry, so we do a
I would
panel
love
together
that.
to discuss everything. That would be a really pleasure to do and very interesting for our listeners. So
Yes.
that would be fun. So I drop you in the back,
Okay.
and we say thank you to our listeners and watchers, and then we come to the back as well, and we can talk some more.
All right. Bye,
Yeah.
everybody.
That
So
was very interesting.
yeah, it was fun. It went all over the place like
Oh yeah.
usual.
Yeah.
You
But
start
that
with
makes it fun.
the yes. So everyone who joined in, thank you. I saw Jenny, Tony, Susan. Thank you for sharing out. Next week we are back on a different day on Friday,
Hmm.
and we have April Bousse.
Yes, we
So
do.
make sure you join and watch viewer discretion required, like always.
Hmm.
This content is owned by Things in the Netherlands, so not by Canadian, Japanese, or Chinese company. So
Oh.
I have to make sure to announce it one more time.
Oh man, it's annoying. People trying to
Yeah,
own up on our show is very annoying. That does make
thank
us
you,
very
Susan.
popular, probably, but
Yeah,
hands off.
exactly. We own the videos. We are the persons, real persons. We are not AI. So it's
No, they can.
ours.
They have 6 fingers. I have 5.
Yeah. They have. Well, for the last time, thank you all for watching, and see you next week.
Bye bye, everybody.